Shalom, Yashrala. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and our will. And salutation and much love for you, I can push this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. First, I want to, apologize if there's a lot of noise in the background and everything else like that. If you understand what's going on right now, we are under a hurricane at the moment here in Florida. So, put up prayers for the brothers that's here in Florida and everything else like that. Predominantly, mostly all the brothers are right on the side, where the hurricane is, right now at the moment. All right. But, so far, so good. Hey, just keep the brothers in prayers. All right. But going into this here article, all right, which is also breaking news, because, hey, no matter what the circumstances, prophecy don't stop. We have a time like never before right now. And of course, Lord's will, I'll do a different lesson on, the Lord bringing judgment with these storms and things like that, man. All right, because hey, in one sense, it's almost something that's kind of like normal to us that live here and everything else like that. But at the same time, hey, man, the Lord is bringing down judgment, man. All right, and not getting too far on a hurricane, this thing keeps upgrading and switching up and everything else like that. 2 days ago, it wasn't supposed to be hitting, where it's hitting it. And then all of a sudden now we get a direct hit where we're at. All right. So, hey, it's going down out there. All right. And like I said, as you can probably hear in the background. So, that's one thing. But again, at the same time, hey, prophecy don't stop. All right. So this is something that came through, the pipeline late last night. And, it's starting to, show its course right now. All right. So this says Russia to summon UN Security Council. All right. It says Moscow's requesting a meeting over suspected sabotage attack on Nord Stream pipeline. Now, to go into these things a little bit, to give you a little bit of background on what these things are. All right. You have, the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipelines. All right. Now, Nord Stream 1 is a pipeline that's already been up and running, which, pretty much flows natural gas from Russia to Europe, via like Germany and things like that, right? Now, they also had built, and, which is a provocation. We'll speak on Nord Stream 2 for a second. Now, Nord Stream 2 was something that they invested a lot of money into, all right? And now you try to go into Habakkuk 2 and 5. Let me actually start there real quick, all right? I was going to start a little bit up, but let me jump down a little bit. Habakkuk 2 and 5, it says, yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man and neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire is hell, and his death cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Now, part of the reason that you have, this proxy that's going on where America and the West, well, the West is following America, NATO and the EU is following America. But the reason that America is wanting to get up into Ukraine is because of the pipelines that run through there. All right. To be able to, it's pretty much like a tax. All right. If you think about, on certain roads, they have toll booths, all right, and toll roads and everything else like that. Hey, the government want a piece of every car that goes through there. All right. So you have the Nord Stream, pipeline and everything that runs natural gas and everything else like that to Europe, Slovakia, from Russia. All right. Hey, America, with what they call the SWIFT program, and also with the petrodollar, America already gets money off of all these things, but hey, they want to secure these things. So basically with the Nord Stream 2, Russia spent all that money investing into it just for what, America to pressure Germany not to certify it at the very end. All right, it's just like you've built up this here restaurant or something like that and pulled all the correct permits and everything else like that. And at the last moment, when it's time for the ribbon cutting ceremony, you didn't pull the permit to get the ribbon cutting ceremony to be in place. So now they shut down your whole project. But you spent all this money and advertisement and everything else like that. You're going to be upset about these things. And so, you have these things going in the forefront, or in the background, while the things, that you see in the forefront, oh, Russia just invaded Ukraine and everything else like that. There's a lot more deeper things that's going on at this, again, when you deal with a proxy war. All right. It's not just one nation using another nation for war. There's a lot of different things that's going on. All right. You have a lot of proxies. You do have a hot war that's going on with Russia and Ukraine, but then you also have, other Cold War tactics that's going on. Like, for instance, sanctions is a product of a Cold War, all right? Because you're not shooting bullets when you have sanctions on other countries. Look at how the state of Cuba, all right, which Cuba just got leveled with this here hurricane, but look at the state of Cuba while they're stuck in the 50s, all right? That's not a hot war. They're not over there dropping bombs on Cuba, but guess what? They're not really able to flourish because of what? The sanctions that's put on them, or what they call embargo, same thing that they got on them, all right? But that's what America tried doing with Russia by putting these sanctions on them, all right, and also by cutting them off from the or not certifying the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Now, again, the rift with these things is you have some of these EU nations that's like the scripture say, the beast starting to hate the whore. And they're trying to find different ways to keep their energy on and everything else like that. But America's trying to pressure them with these things. So now you have the Nord Stream 1 pipeline, which was already in effect. Right now they had to service part of that, so they take it out of commission for a while and send parts of it. I forgot where they had to send parts of it to get serviced it. But however, because the sanctions that they had on Russia, they was like, hey, well, we can't quite send it back because of the sanctions. Right. So then now that the pipeline was down at a limited rate, pretty much it wasn't really moving. All right. So now, you have this scenario that's going on. All right. Because again, it's going all into, Babylon the Great trying to secure their way over top of Russia. All right. But nevertheless, let me go back and read this here article, and I'm gonna play this here video real quick. All right. Again, Salaki, if this wind is super loud, but it says Moscow is requesting a meeting over a suspected sabotage on the Nord Stream pipeline. All right. So again, if you don't know what happened over last night, this pipeline pretty much was blown up. All right. It says Moscow seeks to call an emergency UN Security Council session over the provocations at the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipelines. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova said on Wednesday in a Telegram post. Both pipelines were severely damaged earlier this week in what many suspected to be a deliberate attack. All right, so they both pretty much went down at the same time. All right, and it was like, there was explosions in those areas. All right, it says Danish authorities confirmed gas leaks on the pipelines not far from the islands of Bornholm in the Baltic Sea on Monday after the pipeline operators reported a loss of pressure on both Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipelines. The Swedish and Danish authorities later said that there was a series of undersea explosions. All right, so it wasn't just a mere accident. And not to mention, you got pollutions going into the ocean, man. Talk about a damn devil that can't get his way. You playing a game with your cousin or something like that, and it's his turn to play, and all of a sudden you don't want to give it up. So what you do, you pull the game out the wall, unplug the game, throw the TV on the ground, break the TV and everything else like that, stomp on the controllers. Like, this is what Babylon is doing over here, man. A real sore loser. It says Russian, American, and Swedish officials then said that the damage might have been the result of a targeted attack on the pipeline infrastructure, in which it's obvious. It was not that it just, just all of a sudden went down. All right. Plus, there was reports of explosions. Plus, there was reports of, I believe, American warships in the area. All right. It says no suspects behind the incident have officially been named, although former Polish Foreign Minister Radoslav, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, thanked Washington for destroying the pipeline in a tweet. Moscow, which called the incident a terrorist attack, also named the U.S. as potential suspects. All right, which we'll get into that. All right, but nevertheless, you got some folks that's already over here thanking, the Americans for these things. And who stands to benefit from these things? Is it Russia that stands to benefit from not being able to sell oil to these people over there? I mean, in a sense, yeah, they would be able to so-called benefit because of it's a supply and demand. When you have a drought, you can up the price on certain things. But if you can't deliver the goods, you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, for Jake who be thinking in dope boy tactics, right? If there's no other dope boys, then your dope is gonna sell the most. But now, if you try to get rid of all the dope boys, that's one thing. But you wouldn't call the police on yourself and get rid of yourself, because how the hell are you gonna sell your product to the customers? You see, so Russia's not trying to sit here and blow up their own shit. You know what I mean? But hey, then again, they could, because we know that they're all working together in one intent. But we have, evidence of what's going on. Like I said, like they just said, the Polish prime minister, or the ex-Polish foreign minister, pretty much thanked America for this. All right. And we got more evidence on these things. But nevertheless, let's continue reading. It says, several German high-ranking MPs have meanwhile pointed fingers at Russia, accusing it of attempting to stir up uncertainty among the European population, in which they don't have to do that. Like I was just saying, why would they, as a dope boy, why would you call the police on yourself just to create a rift into the supply chain? When, in fact, there's already sanctions on Russia, which is already starving out Germany and the rest of Europe with energy because if they want to follow America, Russia ain't got to do none of these things, man. All right, so this is, it's obvious who's done this. It says there's been no shortage of threats from the Western nations against Russia undersea pipelines, particularly the Nord Stream 2, before and after late February when Moscow sent troops into Ukraine. It has been ready to pump gas since September last year, but was not put into operation due to Germany's refusal to certify it. And so, like I said, just like you done built up this restaurant, you got everything in place, but then when it comes time to cut the ribbon, all of a sudden they want to go into some small detail. Hey, you never got the permits to sit here and have this ribbon cutting ceremony. We're going to have to shut down this whole building, all right? It says Polish President Andrzej Duda demanded last month that the pipeline be totally scrapped, all right? And again, think about all the money that was invested into that, man. All right, U.S. President Joe Biden warned early in February before Russia began the operation in Ukraine that if Moscow acted against Kiev, there would no longer be a Nord Stream 2. We will bring it to an end. A journalist asked him to clarify what exactly he meant, to which Biden responded, I promise you we will be able to do that. All right, and so let's go ahead and take a listen to that. All right, now, this is, you could just type it on YouTube. Biden says he'll shut down Nord Stream 2 pipeline, right? So here we go.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
And so, as you hear, this was 7 months ago, all right? And again, if you understood what was going on from beforehand, you would know that Germany was with this, all right? Because this was a project between them and Russia, all right? But yet and still, America urged them not to go forward with this, all right? Not to certify it, all right? So, but this was before the incursions that happened with Russia and Ukraine. So now they went forth with these things and, they have all these different threats and everything is being heightened up. Again, before you have these so-called hot wars where guns or bullets are flying, they have Cold War. All right. Now, you think back in the olden times in the scriptures, they would do what? Lay siege to an area. All right. Before they go in and go to war. All right. Cut off the shipment of food and water coming in and everything else like that. Well, think about it in these terms. Wars. Russia's trying to export certain goods. All right, i.e. natural gas and energy, which brings forth money for them to be able to do whatever they need to go and do for them to survive. It's just like, you as a human being, you go to work to go get money so you can feed your family and everything else like that. Well, Russia, or not Russia, nations, they trade, all right, to bring in, gross domestic product, all right, to be able to make moves, all right. We need to up our military. We need to be able to do this and do that. So we need to be able to trade with other nations, i.e. look at Cuba again. All right, they're not able to trade with the majority of the nations and things like that. So you see the state that they're still in. All right. So this is what, America with these sanctions have been trying to do to Russia. All right. And how much more with these here pipelines. So as there is a situation that's been going on over here, you got to think about the reaction to these things. Now, we're going to get into this here a couple scriptures. But the point is to make note of is, hey, man, where's the outcry of you Americans as as your president, all right, and this here, not just your president, we don't want to give him that much credit, but as your government, all right, your leaders here in America is pushing forth to the end of your own demise. All right, what do you think the outcome of these things are going to be? Everybody always want to talk about how Putin is the bad man and everything else. First of all, there's a lot of propaganda about how doesn't have a capable military and his military is weaker than what they all talking about. It's all fluff and everything else like that. Hey, we know according to the prophecies how things are going to play out. But let's talk a little carnal talk real quick, man. All right, you know how many nukes that Russia got? All they got to do is be accurate with one nuke. All right, just with one. All right, to do some devastation. Now, not to mention, America don't have no goddamn missile defense systems that could even stand up to a bombardment of Russian missiles. No matter what the hell did they tell you, they have not been upgrading their missile defense system since what they call the THAAD system and the Patriot system, man. All right, they don't have the capabilities to shoot down multiple missiles. Now they'll tell you about the Star Wars projects and everything else like that, but still, hey, like I said, all they got to do all Russia got to do is be accurate with one nuke. All right, and that'll do a major devastation over here. So, and that's in a carnal sense. All right, we know what's going to happen according to the prophecies, man. So, hey, all that extra talk, is out the woodwork. But where are these American citizens that's all outraged about all kind of other things that's over here marching for this and marching for that? They talk about Black Lives Matter and everything. But hey, what about again, speaking in the carnal talk, because we're not really for this here place over here. But where's the talk for American lives matter, man? You should be up in arms with your government right now about the things that they're doing out here, man. You're over here sabotaging nations, all right, putting sanctions on these, not just nations, nuclear powered nations, man. We're not talking about no Iraq or nothing like that, man. We're talking about the other great nuclear superpower out there, man. All right, so hey, where are you Americans in your everyday to day talk? Instead, you over here walking around with flying your little support Ukraine. But what you don't realize is what your own nation is bringing you to your own demise. Your own nation is arming and creating a proxy war against Russia, poking the bear, bringing you to your own demise, over here destroying their infrastructure. Now, let's just flip it around and rework this. Now, I remember I forgot how long ago it was when they was complaining about how Russia was rigging the elections, Russia stole the elections, Russia did this, Russia did that, and they was pleading with these governments to do something about Russia and all these things with their elections. Think about, that's just your elections. Think about if they cut off your water supply, your fuel supply, your electricity supply, and everything else like that. How bad people would be upset. I know here with this here hurricane, man, we done been out of gas in this here area for the last 2 or 3 damn days, man. No water, no nothing, man. So, people are outraged over those things, man. There was people out there fighting at the damn gas pump 3 days ago, man. So imagine how much more if you was going to be out of gas indefinite. Now, granted, there's gas trucks coming every day, but that gas don't stay in the gas station for longer than 3-4 hours, man. All right, but let's listen to this one more time. We'll grab some scriptures.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
Hey, and before we get into certain things, I want to go ahead and read this since, it popped back up on verse 3. In Habakkuk 2 and 3, it says, "The vision's yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." And we're in a time now where we're seeing a lot of these prophecies speaking forth, coming forth, and everything else like that. All right, so let's just quickly just jump onto this. Matter of fact, we'll read this in Obadiah. All right, because I'll quote it. Going in Revelation, talking about how the beast shall hate the whore and burn her with fire. All right, now we know. Let me read this first. This is Obadiah 1 and 7. All right, it says, "All the men of thy confederacy." All right, let me read that part in the NLT. It says, "All of your allies will turn against you." All right, so matter of fact, I'm gonna just read the whole thing in the NLT. It says, "All of your allies will turn against you. They will help to chase you from your land. They will promise you peace while plotting to deceive and destroy you. Your trusted friends will set traps for you. You won't even know about it." So let's just say that things play out the way they are playing out. Nord Stream 2 was built to further supply, more natural gas over to Europe, to Germany and stuff like that. America forced them to not certify that pipeline, which only really damages the economy for Germany. All right. So like, again, it's getting louder out here, but it only really damages the economy for Germany. All right. Puts them under higher stress in Europe and everything else like that. All right. Hey, they don't get the benefit from these things, but they have to feel the brunt of these things, man. And before all this, America going up in Ukraine, they was with all this, man. All right, they was with pushing forth for this because it would have benefited them. But now they had to turn those things off. All right, and they don't get no benefits from any of these things. Then all of a sudden, let's just say hypothetically, it is what it is. And America went over here and blew up these here pipelines, man. All right, so what do you think that's in the back of the minds of these Germans and these Europeans over there, man? All right, so let's just say this, hypothetically, let's just say America was to go over there and win with Russia, all right, and take all the land that they wanted to go and take and everything else like that. and they set up their pipelines like the plan that they want to set up and everything. What if America got their little plan and their agenda set up? Do you think that they would be giving Germany free gas and free natural gas and energy over there? No, they would be charging them out of those things, man. All right, just think about this. You know, when America went over to Iraq and everything else like that, and took over their oil fields and everything else like that, did everyday Americans that's been paying for that military with your tax dollars, did you get any free gas or any gas breaks or any of those things? No, the elites got all that money. So you think that Germany and the EU would be benefiting from if America went over there? All right, no, they'd be in a better place. At least they wouldn't have their own people that's holding it over top of their head, man. All right. So, hey, what do you think is in the minds of these Europeans right about now, man? All right, as they seeing that their economies is suffering, all right, and all these things is going bad for them, and they just have to keep up in the ante when it comes to sending arms and weapons and aid packages over to Ukraine, but they're not getting anything out of it. If anything, the more money they send over there, the more it's costing them to survive. Like, well, shit, we started sending y'all money, and now all of a sudden we got heat coming on us, and now we can't even trade with Russia. Now they cut off our natural gas supply. Oh, we want to send more money. Now they didn't blow up the pipeline, so now we definitely ain't getting nothing over there, man. So what do you think the next step is gonna be, man? All right, you know, it'll take a fool to just keep going on this here path, but we know again, you know, according to prophecy, what's gonna happen. Let's read that again. Obadiah 1:7 in the NLT, it says, all your allies will turn against you. They will chase you from your land. They will promise you peace. All right, right now they're still at peaceful talks while plotting to deceive and destroy you. All right, we know what the end all be all is going to be with these nations. All right, it says your trusted friends will set traps for you and you won't even know about it. And this is what you have going on right now. You know, they think that they're all on their side and everything else, but hey, these things are coming to your own demise. All right, we can touch back on this here Habakkuk real quick, you know, because that kind of goes back with that. But let's go back to Habakkuk 2:5. It says, yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, and he that keepeth at home. All right, hey, he's over there in the business of two other nations, man, between Russia and Germany and everything else like that, man. All right, it says, who enlarges his desire as hell, and his death cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. It says, shall they not take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe that to him that increaseth that which is not his, and how long to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. All right, and they going into further and further in the debt. I believe they said they spend $1 billion a month over there in the Ukraine. All right, but yet they ain't got $1 billion to spend for you Americans over here, man. Can't afford food, can't afford housing, can't afford gas. All right, you can't afford your infrastructure to be up and running. But yet and still, you can spend $1 billion a year over there for these elites to be able to benefit off of these things. It's not like you everyday Americans are going to benefit. Like I said, look back to Iraq, man. Look back to Afghanistan, man. All right, they went over there and got the poppy fields in Afghanistan and created all these opioids and all these drugs and made all this money with this big pharma and everything else like that. You everyday Americans didn't benefit from that. If anything, it really damaged off your family and got everybody hooked on these opioids, man. All right, but you didn't, you know, your tax dollars went to go and fund that, but you didn't get none of this here money back. All right, it says, shall they not suddenly rise up that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booty unto them? So, hey, when these people start waking up to the reality of what's going on, like I said, hey, Germany, phase one, you know, we don't certify the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Well, what's the reaction to that? Oh, well, all of a sudden now, you know, we don't get the gas and natural energy, the natural gas and energy that we need from over there. All right, we start sending weapons over Ukraine, and Ukraine and Russia start popping off. What's the end all be all with that? Oh, well, now we got to put sanctions on Russia. Now Russia can't sell us natural gas and energy. So what's the outcome of that? Well, shit, now we over here skirmishing around for energy out here, man. All right, wintertime is coming up, and hey, we don't know how we're going to survive. Now we got to destabilize population because they all up in arms because they can't afford energy no more. All right, our economies are collapsing, man. So you have these things in which we know that these things are all being orchestrated from the Lord. All right, but you know, eventually you're going to have these nations that that are going to uprise against these you know, up against Babylon at the end all be all, man. All right, and turn their swords against her. All right, verse 7 says, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booty unto them? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, and all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, and all the city, and all that dwell therein. All right, so hey, this is the reason that they're all going to pretty much jump up to spoil you. All right. Matter of fact, before I forget, let me grab this real quick because I wanted to grab this a little earlier, when going into that speech that Biden was talking about the Nord Stream 1 pipeline, all right, bringing them into, World War III. All right, Proverbs 21:1, it says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. All right, so hey, as all these things are shaping up to take place, all right, as all these things are happening around the world, you see in certain things, strategic things starting to happen and everything else like that. Hey, this is all the will and the plan of the Lord. All right, as far as bringing forth, the time of what? That great war. All right, World War III. All right, the great judgment. All right. Proverbs 21:1, it says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. All right, and this is where we're going to close out. And let me grab let me read this in NLT first, verse 7. Job 18:7, the confident stride of the wicked shall be shortened. Their own schemes will be their downfall. So like I was going into, the fact of the matter of, if America is behind the sabotage, which we know all the things they're doing already is part of their own downfall, the sanctions on Russia. All right, well, what is that doing? Putting Germany or the European nations between a rock and a hard spot, putting them into a position of choosing whether to go with their friends or their enemies. All right, and recognizing who's really their friends and who's their enemies. All right, turning your allies to turn upon you, man. But again, this is all the Lord that's turning the minds of the kings whithersoever he will to get that ultimate checkmate move, man. All right, it says their own schemes will be their downfall. So hey, even we're going into this here Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipeline destruction, man. At the end all be all, this is going to be part of the part of the story of the the downfall of Babylon the Great. All right, we've already been into this started some years back, but the beginning of the end has already been initialized, man. All right, verse 7 in the KJV, it says, the steps of his strength shall be straightened, his own counsel shall bring him down, for he is cast into a net by his own feet and walketh upon a snare. The jinn shall take him by the heel, and the robbers shall prevail against him. All right, so hey, he's putting well, let me read the next verse. The snare is laid for him in the ground, and the trap for him in the way. So hey, his allies, as we read in Obadiah 1 and 7, all right, they're planning and plotting to deceive and destroy him, while all promising him peace and going along with his plans at the point in time. Yeah, we got your back, we got your back. As soon as you get in there with the damn line, we finna shut the door and go the other way, man. All right, and this is what you have going on. Verse 11, terror shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. All right, so this is what you also have going on, right? It says, his strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. It shall devour his strength, even the first. It says, it shall devour the strength of his skin, even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. His confident stride, Salak, his confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors. All right, so hey, it shall bring him to the king of terrors. All right, ultimately it's going to bring him to that judgment day, to the day where he's meet his demise and meet those thermonuclear missiles, where he's going to fall out of his position of power. But ultimately, this is going to be small steps leading him all the way up to the very end. All right, but hey, this is just another step closer to how we say fulfilling prophecy, man. All right, the vision shift from the point in time, but the end shall speak and not lie. And we're pretty much how they say at the point of no return right now, man. All right, the plot keeps thickening more and more and more and more. So hey, just keep your eyes open, stay focused on prophecy, man. All right, because we're almost up out of this here bad boy. All right. With that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Again, put up more prayers for the brothers, all of us that live here in Florida. Because like I said, the majority of us are in that path where, we pretty much get a direct hit as we speak right now, as you can hear in the background. All right. With that, stay strong. Shalom.